Last time after Eugene, when I didn't get the goal that I wanted, I immediately signed up for another one like a month and a half later. That wasn't smart.
Here's Brianna Wilson, Melissa Trammell, Lindy Garzella, Griff Duncan, and Elena Young.
It was fun. I did PR.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed. She's all alone in a time of need. Because he's racing and pacing and plotting the course. He's fighting and biting and riding on his horse. He's going the distance.
All right, if you're seeing this, then I've already run the Carmel Marathon. Hopefully, there's no wood to knock on, but hopefully in under 3 hours. Kind of kept this one under wraps, more of a secret. It's funny because if you go back to one of the earlier videos in the series, I said last time I was stupid and I went ahead and signed up for another marathon a month and a half after I failed. And I did the same thing. I hired Rory as my new coach, and I told him, the reason I hired you as a coach is because I want you to tell me this is a bad idea, hoping he wouldn't. And he was like, yeah, we do need to work on 5K and 10K stuff, and we're not going to get all that faster in the meantime, but we can ultimately do whatever you want to do. And I was like, well, if you put it that way, then I want to try again. I'm still not sure what shoes I'm going to wear on the day of the race. I've tried these on track workouts, never really on like asphalt, you know? They felt a little bit off to me because I'm used to the Alphaflys, but like everything I see says that these are better than the Alphaflys with testing, with everything. So gonna give them one last go, and if not, they've only got like 10 miles on them and I'm allowed to return them for store credit. I've already used them, so no harm, no foul, and just roll with the Alphaflys on race day if we really don't like these. The plan for today is one of the last sessions before the marathon. The marathon's in exactly 1 week, and today it's just gonna be 2-mile warm-up, 5 miles at marathon pace, and 2-mile cool down. So we'll get to it.
I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me. I can't change the way I am, you see. I think it's my responsibility to tell you I'm just as bad as I used to be. Yes, I'm just as bad as I used to be.
Carmel Marathon fit perfectly just because it was not high stakes. You know, I don't have to fly out there, can just get a Airbnb, bring my dogs, bring the family. And I didn't really want to announce anything just because I feel like it's kind of been like the boy who cried wolf. You can only say you're going for Sub-3 so many times. The first 2 attempts I did it, I think in the back of my head, I knew it was going to be a stretch, but the thing I just can't rest on is I know I had it in me at Mesa and I just want to try it. I want to try it on a flat course, just ideal temperature, give it one good shot. And the way the fitness has been progressing, I'm pretty confident that we can do that.
I was born in South Texas, didn't have $1 to our name. My papa left my mama there to pick cotton and cut down sugar cane. She had to work like a slave all day, so I might have better spend my time in the sunshine ray. I'm working, baby, I'm working. Daddy, I'm working. Yes, mama, I'm working. Brother, I'm working for you. Want to know if it's worth it or true. I just want better, and I'm about to break on through. Baby, I'm working.
Just completed the 5 marathon pace. Did them a bit faster, probably around like 6:45, but I honestly find that whenever I'm looking at my watch and seeing my pace, I go slower. So that's why I just don't look at my watch and just do it by feel. But I think it's going to be too hard because shouldn't be this gassed after 5 marathon pace. It's hot. Haven't run for a few days. So I think I'm just ripping off the Band-Aid, letting this leg rest. But just gotta do 2 to cool down now, and then that's it. What's up, guys? So we are here 2 weeks post-race. If you are familiar with the running community, I'm not sure if you heard me mention that I was going to be doing the Carmel Marathon. Things actually changed quite a bit. The race was supposed to be on Saturday, and then on Wednesday got notified that the race was going to be canceled or postponed to May 31st due to potential weather. So that was like a month and a half later and didn't really work out. Luckily, I found out within like minutes of when the race was canceled and was able to pivot to another marathon about 2 hours further away in Athens, Ohio. Had never been there before, but it was a big college town. It sold out within like minutes. I was one of the last people to register. It capped out at 200 people because it was a small town race. It ended up being on a very flat bike path. It was literally just 13 miles out, 13 miles back, perfectly flat on this narrow bike path. So I see why they couldn't have more than 200 people running that. It was already crowded as is, finishing with the half marathon as well in the back half. I was in a really good headspace this whole mini build leading up to it. I had been working with Rory, my new coach, for the first time for about 5 or 6 weeks. We knew obviously we weren't going to build that much fitness. It was more so about just tweaking a few things. And, you know, I was confident that Mesa was not a reflection of my true fitness. But about 2 weeks out, I started experiencing some pain in my left glute. You can kind of see it actually as I'm running. I didn't realize when I reviewed the footage, I was kind of hobbling a bit, but then as it warmed up, things got better. So that led me to have like a lot of doubt actually the 2 weeks leading up to it. And it was kind of a complete 180 of the emotions I had been experiencing. Couldn't really run that much. It wasn't really a taper. It just led to a lot of doubt. And even the day before the race, it was supposed to be a 4 mile shakeout, but I ended up calling it at 3 miles, did a few strides, didn't even do all my strides, and just did not feel great running like 7:50 minute a mile pace, so a minute slower than marathon pace. My heart rate was like in the 150s, which for me, that's a very high heart rate. You know, my marathon heart rate is in the mid 150s. Really wasn't a good like mental headspace going into it, but I know, you know, race day, everything's different. So just kind of put it out of the back of my head. And sure enough, showed up to the race, ready to give it a go. But there was really no one to pace with. It was hard to get in the rhythm of things. The first mile was actually very downhill and the rest of it was flat. And I knew it was going to be a slight headwind the first way and then a tailwind the second way. Opened it up very slow, which was the plan, but I was a bit slower than I wanted to. Really going through 6 miles, it was like, man, I just can't find a rhythm. But you know, with a marathon, with any long run, things can change in like the snap of a finger. So that's just what I kept telling myself. There was one guy that appeared to be going for sub-3 as well. I could tell because he was a bit ahead of me. So I just kind of kept him in my sights the whole way. And then I kind of broke this down into checkpoints. Really was not feeling like it was my day, but was there to do what we were gonna do. You know, I had driven 6 hours to be out here, spent all this money on another Airbnb, a quick pivot. So I was gonna be completing the marathon one way or another. And my mom was gonna meet me at the halfway through the bottle check. So that was my next checkpoint, was just chop it down a little bit, get to halfway in 1:30, get your bottle, then you'll have the tailwind going back. And the second half of this will actually be easier, is what I was telling myself. Ended up chopping it down. I think mile 12 or 13 was my fastest mile. Came through a little bit over 1:30. I don't know what the exact split was, but my watch said I was on 6:52 minute a mile pace. So I was like, okay, perfect. Now we've got the tailwind. Although it wasn't as easy as I had anticipated, it didn't really feel like the tailwind. It wasn't like a big one. Really around mile 16, I was like, shoot, man, this still is not my day. I had slowed to like a 7:50 pace and I was like, I really don't want to be here right now. And this is the first marathon where the whole time I just have not felt like it was my day. I knew I was still on pace and I had a caffeinated gel that I was saving for like an emergency. So that was kind of like my pull the lever, let's do this. Took it, it was one of the cis beta gels, 200 milligrams of caffeine. And immediately within that mile, you know, I was back locked into mile 22 and I kept trading places with that guy. I think I passed him once, he passed me once. He was in the lead most of the time and then I passed him. And then around mile 22, we kind of exchanged some words for the first time to say that we were both doing a good job. I asked him if he was going for sub-3. He said, yeah, but I think we're a little bit off pace. And looking back at it, we were on like 3 hours and 22 seconds a mile pace at that point. I could tell probably wasn't going to be my sub-3 day, unfortunately. The one thing that I'm proud of though, and that was different, is I had carb loaded very properly this time. I think it was 850 grams of carbs each day, the 2 days leading up. And that led me to kind of go into like eco mode, or just like self-preservation mode. Don't blow up, but ride it into the finish. It's going to be painful, but you can do anything for 4 miles or about 30 minutes. I wanted to stop at the aid station so many times to just stop and sip water, but I knew if I did that, I wasn't going to be able to keep going. And once you do that, the marathon's really over. I've only stopped in one marathon, and it was my first marathon, and that was a huge mistake. It was like a 12-minute split and then took forever to get back into it. So I knew I couldn't stop, because if I stopped, the whole thing was over. So it was all just about mantras, repeating it over and over again, and knowing that I was ultimately going to get a PR if I could just stay under 8 minute a mile pace. This is honestly like probably the best executed marathon I've ever had, where I didn't go out too aggressive. I was cutting it down properly. I don't think I ran a single mile over 7:40 seconds a mile. So this is the only marathon I've done where I haven't totally blown up and gone over 8 minutes a mile. And that's where I think the fueling came into play. Before Mesa, I didn't fuel the best. I stopped eating at like 4 p.m. the day before because I didn't want to be bloated on race day, which was a huge mistake. So made sure to keep eating until 8 p.m. the night before. Kind of analyzing everything afterwards, it just sounds like I need to be doing some more work at threshold. But yeah, ultimately finished it out, saw my mom at the finish line and just kind of like collapsed into her. I've never done that after a marathon. I was really emotional, just proud of that one, and then just laid on the turf, and sure enough, this left leg, I knew it would, it just completely locked up. And the next few days I could not walk at all in this thing. I looked like an 80-year-old man. I ended up seeing a physical therapist, 2 different physical therapists, 3 times, just because I was so concerned about it. We ran all the tests on me. There's no injury. It's just that the muscle and the body is really, mainly the glute, angry at me from all the mileage. So I just need to chill. And that's been the hardest part in this period afterwards, is I've never really felt like this after a marathon. I always just want to get back to work. And that's the hardest thing about a marathon for me, is forcing yourself to rest, especially when you see other people you know that recently did marathons getting their mileage back up, and you just have to recognize that it's best to rest. So I've tried to run a handful of times, but ultimately it's getting better every day. I can walk totally normal now, but just got to slowly build my way back up into the mileage. There's no rush here. Do some cross training and slowly incorporate in some easy jogging until we can flip the switch over. And then the plan is a lot more speed stuff. There's a mile time trial I want to do at the end of June, then 5K, 10K. I am not doing another marathon until November, and I mean it this time at the Indianapolis Marathon. So that's what we're going to be working on and documenting, maybe making some more informative videos in between this gap while filming that stuff. And that's it for now, guys. So thanks for tuning in, and catch you guys in the next one.